There's a lot of water on our planet, and it goes by a lot of different names. Gulfs and arroyos and fjords are all bodies of water, but each one represents something unique. So let's try to understand them.
The levels would be outdated, of course, before anyone started. Then on the page, too sincere, clearly regret, backward, wait, naive, anachronistic. Maybe that'll be the point. Maybe that's why they need the next real level. As far as I can see, with disapproval.
בוקר טוב, צהריים טובים, אחר צהריים טובים, ערב טוב, לילה טוב ולפנות בוקר נהדר לכם. אתם מאזינים למשדר רשת, לי קוראים ארז. משדר רשת, פודקאסט בענייני השעה, שזה מה שמעניין אותי בשעה שבה אני מדבר, אבל בשעה הזאת אני שוב אפנה את המיקרופון ואת זכות הדיבור מעבר להערות ולשאלות שלי, כי אין מה לעשות, אני חייב להיכנס פה לאדם בשם דיוויד מטקלף. דיוויד הוא הסולן, היוצר, המנהיג, הכותב העיקרי, אני לא יודע איך להגדיר אותו עוד, הגיטריסט, הקלידן, הבסיסט, המפיק והטכנאי של צמד הרכבים, הראשי שביניהם מכונה Bodies of Water, והמשני שבהם הוא נקרא Music Go Music. שני סגנונות שונים מאוד, שזה אגב מאוד מעניין. בדרך כלל אומנים נוטים גם בפרויקטים הצדדיים שלהם נוטים להישאר איפה שהם נמצאים. בדרך כלל אומן הוא אומן של, אני לא יודע, דנס או מה שמכונה אלקטרוניק דנס מיוזיק, אז הפרויקט הצד שלו יהיה יותר אמביאנט או משהו כזה. אם מישהו רוק, אז הפרויקט הצד שלו יהיה גם רוקי. פה הרכב Bodies of Water מנגן משהו שהוא שילוב בגדול של סול ואינדי, אבל כמו שנגלה במהלך הריאיון, יש השפעה מאוד מאוד חזקה של דווקא מוזיקה, מה שמכונה ספיריטואלס וגוספל, פחות אולי בסגנון עצמו, זה לא נשמע כמו ספיריטואלס, זה לא נשמע כמו גוספל, אבל מה שכן, האווירה או המקום שממנו Bodies of Water באים והולכים, הוא אכן מאוד ספיריטואלי ומאוד מושפע באמת מהאסתטיקות של הגוספל. אני הכרתי את Bodies of Water ככה במהלך השנים האחרונות, וכמו כל דבר טוב שאני מגלה, אני כמובן מיד חיפשתי את כל מה שיכולתי לשים עליו את ידיי, יש להם 4 אלבומים שיצאו ככה בעשור האחרון פלוס מינוס. Music Go Music זה הפרויקט הצדדי, יצא ככה בכמה שנים האחרונות, כשהאלבום האחרון שלהם, Spear in the City, יצא ממש לפני 2 ואני כמובן ממליץ על כולם, אם כי צריך לציין שבשני האלבומים הראשונים ושני האלבומים שבאו אחריהם, מדובר בסופו של דבר בקצת די בשני הרכבים שונים. דיוויד מדבר על זה בריאיון, שהיה איזשהו שינוי, הם היו רביעייה, הם עברו להיות סוג של צמד פלוס נגנים. באלבום האחרון זה הפך להיות קצת יותר, זה סוג של גם כן היה אמור להיות פרויקט צדדי שהפך להיות בעצם Bodies of Water, הוא מדבר על זה. אחד הדברים המעניינים באמת ביצירה של Bodies of Water וקצת ושל Music Go Music, זה באמת הרעיון הזה שיש יוצר אחד שיש לו הרבה מאוד פנים, הרבה מאוד מה שמכונה facets, וזה בעצם כמו שבא מישהו ואומר, אוקיי, היום אני, כמו שחקן בעצם, שבא ואומר, אוקיי, היום אני המלט, היום אני לא יודע מה, רמבו, נניח, או משהו בסגנון הזה. זה הרעיון הזה שהיצירתיות, האפיקים היצירתיים של דיוויד מטקלף, לובשים פנים שונים, כלומר היצירתיות שלו היא בעצם סוג של שחקן, הוא בעצמו היום הוא כזה ומחר הוא כזה, ואני חושב שמצד אחד זה קצת זיקיתי, מצד שני זה ממש לא, כלומר זה לא, אמנם שמי שישמע את מיוזיק או מיוזיק ו-Bodies of Water בהתחלה לא יחשוב שזה אותה יוצר, אותו אומן, אבל בגדול אפשר לראות זה לא דיוויד באוי לצורך העניין, זה לא מישהו שבאמת לובש פנים שונות, אבל כן יש פה איזשהו אלמנט של משחק, של לבישת זהות ופשיטת זהות. דבר נוסף, שאם כבר מדברים על הקריאטיביות ועל הזהויות, אז עוד פרויקט מעניין של Bodies of Water שאנחנו מדברים עליו ממש בהתחלה, הוא פרויקט של 3 סרטוני וידאו שנקרא Arts in Motion, ואני, האמת היא שמאחר ואני שונא ספוילרים, אז תהיתי אם בכלל לא לרמוז על העובדה שמדובר ברעיונות פיקטיביים, שבעצם הדמות המרואיין הוא שחקן, הוא משחק תפקיד, אבל דיוויד די פתח את זה ככה על ההתחלה של הרעיון, אז אמרתי יאללה נזרום עם זה. אז כן, אלה 3 רעיונות פיקטיביים. אז זה בעצם עוד איזשהו אלמנט של עוד מסכה או עוד זהות שהבן אדם או שהיצירה שלו לובשת. מה עוד שבסוף כל סרטון ישנו שיר מהפרויקט שהמשיך והפך להיות האלבום האחרון נכון לעכשיו של Bodies of Water, Spear in the City. כמו שאתם מבינים, הבן אדם הוא מאוד מעניין, הוא יוצר עם הרבה מאוד פנים, הרבה מאוד כיוונים. להפתעתי הרבה גיליתי גם שהוא יוצר שהוא, כלומר הוא עושה הכל בעצמו, מבחינת הפקה, מבחינת הסאונד. כמו שבמשדרים קודמים כבר דיברתי וציינתי, מה שמעניין אותי הוא לא העל מה, אלא יותר איך התהליך של היצירה, ויש לאורך כל השנים, אני ניסיתי ככה מהכיוון שלי לחסות או להסביר או לתת סימנים בתהליך היצירה, מה בעצם קורה מאז שמתחיל התהליך של כתיבת השיר עד שהוא מגיע לאולפן, ואנחנו בהחלט שמחתי על ההזדמנות לשאול מישהו, אומן אמיתי את הדברים האלה, ולשמחתי הרבה היה שם לשאלותה היה קר נרחב, והתשובות שלו בהחלט מעניינות. וכמובן שלכל המוזיקה ולכל הדברים שאנחנו מדברים עליהם יהיה לינקים, ואני יותר מציע ודוחק בכל אחד ששומע וזה מעניין אותו לגשת לאתר של Bodies of Water ולדפים שלהם בבנדקאמפ ובשאר המקומות שאני אקשר אליהם, ליהנות מהמוזיקה, וכמובן למה לא גם לרכוש אותה, שאולי זה יגרום להם ככה, יעודד אותם לייצר עוד ועוד מהמוזיקה שאני אישית מאוד אוהב שלהם. כך או כך אני מעביר את המיקרופון, כמו שאומרים, לדיוויד מטקלף. תהנו.
I guess we didn't really make it obvious that it was all just, you know, kind of a fiction. And so like some people were really like kind of like trying to figure it out, and yeah, I got some emails from people that like were kind of like upset about it. They thought the guy was being mean, or I don't know, you know.
Oh, the
really,
Beethoven guy. Like, oh yeah, that was brilliant.
Oh yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, so, they thought I was like really doing this talk show and finding these people to interview, you know. They're all just friends of mine.
Obviously. Now, did you rehearse those? Did you actually did you write a script, or was it all improv?
I wrote a script, and then I just told everybody that, you know, they could just try to stick to the script, but if they, you know, just to kind of do the best they could. So they like one of the guys actually is an actor. The guy who was like the party planner.
Yeah, because he's
really
actually
a professional actor. Yeah, he's a friend of my wife's from a long time ago. But then the other guys don't really do that very much. But they just kind of, you know, the guy Rob Fosse, who was, you know, telling all these crazy stories. He was actually just those were all dreams that he had, and he was just describing these different dreams that he'd had. So all of his stories about LA were just various dreams that he'd had. So yeah, they're all a little bit different, but I don't know. It's kind of fun to let people who aren't actors just kind of try stuff out.
Yeah.
I want to do some more of them. I've written a whole bunch, but it's hard to, recruit these people and get it up and actually make stuff. It's a bunch of work, so I haven't done it yet.
Well, it was. I was really like, where's number 4? What happened to number 4?
Yeah,
Because,
I was thinking maybe I could do them as like if I did them as like a podcast, it would be easy because then somebody could just come over and we could record it and do it real fast. All the camera stuff and trying to make it look like a real talk show, it's a lot of work,
yeah, but how many cameras did you use? It looks like there was at least 2 or 3. Well, 2 obviously, but it looks like there were 3 or more in there.
I think there were 3. Although one of them, my friend who was running one of them, like she didn't actually like know how to focus it, so it was always a little bit out of focus. So we kind of just ended up using 2 for everything. But we could probably do it a little bit. I don't know, figure out how to do it a little easier. But I don't know. Yeah, it came out good. It looks nice. I wanted it to look like Charlie Rose. Have you ever seen that show?
Yeah.
So yeah, I tried the guy who was helping us film it. I was like, I wanted to just look like Charlie Rose, and so he figured out what kind of lights we should set up to make it look like Charlie Rose. He did a good job.
Oh, that
looks like a real talk show.
Yeah, it really looked good. And honestly, because I came there, I watched the first one, and again, the guy's really good. And he was like, he gave the atmosphere, the feeling that he's really the real deal. And only when he, started with Angela Merkel and the other guy chipping themselves, and I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't really sound like a legit thing. And then I realized what. But the real question concerning the Arts in Motion project is: Adam Levine really one of your favorite singers?
No, I'm not really a big fan.
Okay,
but I'm playing a character just as much as the guests on the show. So my character's favorite singer is Adam
Okay,
Levine.
well that's a relief.
For me personally, I not really for me. It's not really for me.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I was just because it is funny because it's like any other TV or movie or whatever when you like everyone's playing a character, but this guy is playing himself. It's always this feeling. But again, this is like when you do a live show. I always notice that when artists do a live show, they play a character. They don't have to be Alice Cooper. They can be David Metcalf, but they are playing a character.
Yeah.
You are playing a rock star or whatever you do.
Yeah, it's funny how everybody kind of does that a little bit differently. But we don't anymore. But for a while, we were touring a lot and traveling around, and we'd play with this. We'd play with a band for a couple of weeks and travel with them and do shows with them. And so I got to see all these different people and how they do it. And it's funny how everybody has a different approach to performing and having a stage persona, and how some people in a band will do the exact same thing every night. They'll do the same they'll say the same things between the songs, and they have little they'll stand up on their amp and swing something around or whatever at the same part in the same song. And then other people they won't even have a set list, and they'll just go up and just it'll be totally unplanned. But but all these things are they're just amplifying some version of themselves, and in setting up a kind of logistical kind of way to do that and make it.
Do you have anything? Is this conscious when you're on stage? Do you say to yourself, "Now I'm doing stuff," or you just playing the songs that you had a set list and thank you, good night? How is it for you?
I guess maybe I'm like the wrong person to ask. It all kind of depends because I don't know. I feel like I don't have. I definitely don't have a plan. Everybody's a little bit different. Like when we were playing a lot, I know certain people in the band would want to have a set list and know exactly what to expect, and then I always kind of wanted to just like see what was working, and then just kind of make it up as we went along. But that doesn't work for everybody, you know. So we'd have to optimize a little bit and kind of set it up so that it was okay for everybody. But yeah, I don't know. The more flexible I can be, the more comfortable it is for me. Where if some type of thing doesn't seem to be working, you can just kind of jettison that and go on to a new thing.
Speaking of your music, now I don't know what are your expectations, but if I'm on record saying that I don't really care for for the artist interpreting his own lyrics and musics.
Yeah.
Because I always say if you said what you had to say in the song, I don't need you to now reiterate it. But I'm more interested in the creative process and being the writer. Then how do you approach writing a song? Is there like lyrics first, music first? What is your MO in writing songs, if there is one?
I don't have one particular way I'll do it. I mean, there's sometimes it'll be. I guess you know what? Let me. That's not exactly true. I never come up with lyrics, complete music. Usually I'll have some. Usually when I come up with some kind of music, I said usually I'll come up with a like part of a song, and then I'll look for things that I've already written and adapt those, a few lines that work with a melody or some kind of music that's already that I'm working on. And then I take that idea and then kind of like we'll start writing other verses. And I'll usually I'll write a whole lot of verses and then pick my favorite ones and kind of winnow it down. But it does take me a long time because I'll just keep writing verses over and over until I kind of come up with a few that I like a lot.
Well, sometimes, I mean, if I'm taking Here Among You, and obviously I would, because it's one of my favorite songs, and it's obvious to me, I mean, I'm listening to it, and it's obvious to me that, okay, you had that riff, that rhythm thing going, and for me, I mean, I could be completely wrong, you know, jamming with the guitar, having that riff going, and then you were like, okay, where am I taking this? So, is this what happened, or am I completely wrong?
No, I think I think that was the seed of the music, was that riff on the guitar, and then I think came up with that first melody, da 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 da, and found some things that I'd already kind of sketched out lyrically that sort of fit with that. I mean, like fit with it rhythm-wise and as far as the meter, but then also just sort of psychically fit, you know. And then sort of built the song from that. Sometimes I'll have all the lyrics more or less written, and then I'll move those over and edit them so that they fit with the music. But usually I'll take, usually it's kind of, there's some lyrics written, and then all the music gets written, and then the rest of the lyrics get written after that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does. Now you, and we can go into it if you want to. Up until this album, you were not the lead singer. You were a singer, but you were not the lead singer of the band. Your wife Meredith was. Now, how is it different writing for her than writing for your own voice? Because I couldn't imagine writing for somebody with a completely different range and voice than yourself. Obviously, people do it.
Well, I mean, everybody has different types of things that they can do well and that are in their wheelhouse, you know. I think I feel like I know it's been a long time that we've been working on music together. And then I don't know if we're in another band called Music Go Music that hasn't put out that much. We haven't put out any music in a little while with that group, but she's the only singer in that band. So anyhow, but between the two bands, that's something that, and so I've written a lot of songs for her to sing, and I feel like I kind of have gotten hopefully good at it. But we're actually almost done with a new record, and she sings a lot more on this one.
A new Bodies of Water record or a new Music Go Music
new
record?
Bodies of Water record.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I like both of them, but honestly, Bodies of Water is my favorite.
Yeah, it's funny. There's it's like when we were kind of busy with musical music, we're not so much anymore. But when we were doing it, it's like it really is a different group of the audience. Really is a different group of people. I was really surprised by it. I mean, it's neat. It's nice to be able to make something and then sort of like that connects with the different types of folks. But it was funny because Bodies of Water, whenever we'd meet people that liked Bodies of Water, they just kind of seemed like us and our friends. But then the people that got really excited about music like weren't like the kind of people that we hung out with, which is a good thing, but it's very surprising. Anyhow, so she sings a lot more on this record. The last record, originally I was working on it with, in the Arts in Motion video, there are those other two guys that sing. And so I had been working with the two brothers that are friends of ours and that we just know from playing music. And so I had been basically working with them, the three of us, and writing these songs for the three of us to sing. And it was just going to be like a different project. But then people that have always kind of worked with me on Bodies of Water stuff kind of got more and more involved, and it ended up just like being a Bodies of Water record. But then Meredith was kind of came on board with it a little bit later, so they were already sort of written for me to sing with these guys. So she ended up kind of like just being sort of part of the choir instead of up front. But we're kind of back to the way it was originally with the new record. She sings. We kind of like go back and forth and sort of split it 50-50 more or less.
That is good because her contribution to even as a backup singer, her contribution to Spirit in the City is profound. I mean, it would have been a different record without her. But I mean, I actually thought maybe you should have just called. I thought maybe you should just call it, the Arts in Motion Band or something like that, because it sort of feels different, like different in because of the singing and because of the stuff. But I understand where you came from. You produce all your albums? You use any other producer? Obviously, probably the technician is not you, because all the albums I've downloaded online, so there's no linear notes.
No, I actually do all of it. I record the stuff and I do all the arrangements and mix it and everything. I have like a little, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's a studio, but I have like some recording equipment in our garage, and it's so that's where we've made we made a musical record. I'm sitting in the garage right now. We made a music record here, and then we made the last two Bodies of Water records. Well, actually 3 Bodies of Water records here. So the first 2 Bodies of Water records were recorded mostly by our friend Adam, who's the other third of the band Musical Music. So we started, which is kind of how that band started, because he was working with Bodies of Water recording some music. But and then so he did the first 2 records, and then I did Twist Again, which is the 3rd record, and then Spirit in the City, the last one. And then I've done all the songs for the new record, which hopefully it'll be out in the spring. I guess that's the drawback to doing everything myself, is that it just takes a long time. And if I get busy with other stuff, that has to take a back seat. But it's coming along.
Wow. Well, then I was gonna say that the production on all of your records, but I think especially Twist Again, I think is phenomenal and balance wise and all that. You know, the way you handle all those insane instruments. I mean, there's less insane instruments, but a lot more instrumentation. You know, I tend to not like the concept of okay, let's put this guitar here and let's put, unless it makes sense. And I think it makes sense in your work. You know, stuff like all of a sudden there's this slide in my God, the slide in Here Among You. I think there's a weird slide coming in choruses, and so that makes sense. It's not gratuitous.
Oh, thanks.
So yeah, it's so, and it's even more amazing that you say you do it all by yourself. I mean, I do you have any a formal education in this area?
Are you talking about like the recording or the arranging type, or both?
Mostly the arranging. I mean, recording you can pick up as you go along.
Not really. No, I've just been doing it for a long time. You know, mostly just playing music with friends. And I used to have I started recording music like before everybody was using computer, or like in the early 2000s, and I had just like before people started getting, regular people were using Pro Tools and all that stuff, and so I was like trying to like bounce down things on tapes and all that kind of stuff. And so you kind of, if you have the luxury of, you know, doing that and just kind of monkeying with stuff for a long time, you get a feel for what works in a song and how to kind of make things flow and fit together. And I don't know, it does take a while though. It's just like you just got to practice it. I still don't feel like I'm great at it, but I'm kind of like at least comfortable with it, where I don't have to like agonize over stuff now. Stuff just kind of feels like, oh, that's right or that's not right. You know, actually making it happen is another thing entirely. But I feel like it's more or less like gotten pretty second nature at this point.
Well, I always say, people ask me, what does a producer do? And I said, well, that's exactly what he do. He says, that's right and that's not right.
Yeah.
And that's basically what is out there. And, and also I think in the computer business, we call it good enough, which is like the highest praise. You know, so I think you're as a producer, you're good enough. Now, just another thing, do you, and it's like, as I said with the Art in Motion, do you come in and say, okay, you do this and you do that? Or is it more like, you know, people say, hey, I can play this here, and you listen and you say, yeah, do more of that. How is that process going when you arrange the song?
It depends on the song, and it depends on the group and the record. Like so after we made the first two Bodies of Water records with it was the four people, Meredith and me, and then our friends Jesse and Kyle. That was the group that had been together for a long time, and we'd toured with them and, you know, been friends with them for years and years. And we sort of started the band before everybody knew how to play their instruments, and we just kind of had been playing for a long time together. And so we kind of had it was very much like where I wrote the songs, but I would bring the songs to the band before they were finished, and then everybody would kind of finish it together. And mainly just because the touring and actually working as a musician got really stressful and like time consuming and energy consuming. Because that it kind of like splintered up into making the next record with a different bass player and a different drummer, and so which was Twist Again. And so that worked a little bit differently, where I had things in like a much more, they were farther along. Like they were basically finished when I brought them to these guys and played the song for them, and then they just kind of figured out their parts. And then it kind of went even more so like that with the next record, because it was sort of written for me to play on acoustic guitar and sing with these other singers. And then like the arrangements kind of spread out, so people were coming in after the fact to play on these recordings that had slowly been kind of getting put together. The stuff this record that the new record that we're working on is, I guess it actually is a lot more similar to the older stuff, because Kyle, who had played bass with us forever, is back in the band, and he's playing bass on this record. And then another old friend of ours is playing the drums, and she's kind of actually really similar to our original drummer, who lives in Texas now, halfway across the country. So, but it was a little bit more like that, where I wrote the songs and then brought them to the group, and then we kind of collectively made some of those decisions about, we should play this section 3 times and then go to the next section, that kind of thing. And so we recorded the drums, bass, and then I played a Wurlitzer electric piano, all that stuff live together. And then we, went back in afterwards to add, the guitar and singing and that kind of stuff. So we haven't done a lot of, kind of other people that have come in and played. Is another friend of ours who, I think she's played on most of the records, but she does most of the string parts on all of our records, and she's played with us for years and years. And so she came in, and it was kind of a similar situation where I had all the charts for her, and I said, okay, here's the song and here's the parts. And then as we recorded, we'd say, okay, everything works up until this point, and then maybe that should change a little bit, and we'd kind of mess with it. And I've worked with her for a long time, so it's kind of easy to figure that stuff out with her. But so it was really just kind of the group playing it together, and then Heather coming in and doing the strings, and I tried to have everything as ready for her as possible, because she's actually a professional string player, which is nice. It's nice to know one of those, but she's got sessions and everything, and she's just doing us a favor. So if she can kind of be in and out and just knock the stuff out fast, it's good for her, and she was mostly able to. So.
And obviously, another thing which we should talk about arrangement is the singing, because and in all the albums there was always an emphasis on the idea of almost choir-like, a choir-like aspect to that. And I would have to say again, very professionally done in terms of when to sing harmonies, when it's more contrapunct and stuff like that. How does this come about? Do you sing a lot and decide, okay, this is what we're going to do, or again you have this vision in your head and you give out parts?
Well, I think initially it came about because when we first sort of got Bodies of Water together and we were playing with everybody was kind of figuring out their instruments and learning these songs, we realized that all 4 of us like to sing, and we're pretty good at it, pretty okay at it, but had some experience with it. And so we thought, oh, okay, well, we're probably all better singers than we are musicians, so let's make the most of it. So we just sort of naturally started doing the songs that way, and getting kind of basing them more around the singing. Maybe probably just because everybody was more comfortable doing that than playing the drums and the keyboard and all that kind of thing. And then that just sort of I don't know, that just kind of became the way that we did stuff, and I really like that. I mean, I like in other music that I listen to, old gospel music where that's the interplay between the lead singer and the choir is all kind of
the question and answer.
Yeah, it's a standard kind of way of telling the story. And in a lot of classical music too. I mean, that's the same thing with where you have the aria and then the choir will come in with it. So yeah, once that kind of became established as the way that we sort of, I don't know, that became kind of our default way of doing stuff. It felt comfortable, and I liked it, and it was kind of a distinctive thing. And so that, I don't know, I guess just because of that, it was sort of born out of just a practical thing. But now I really like it, and I try to do it whenever we can, But yeah, I think it was like almost, I wouldn't say out of necessity because we kind of learned our instruments, but it did just sort of, everybody felt natural doing that kind of thing and singing complicated stuff, but not really playing very complicated stuff, you know? So it's, I feel like in one way or another, we've kind of just done versions of that with all of the records. And it definitely is like that with this one too. Like everybody in the band now sings, and we've, you know, just kind of going back to the way it was originally with you're playing pretty simple. I feel like we're playing pretty simple parts on the instruments, and then there's a little bit more complicated stuff going on with the singing.
There is, actually. Speaking of playing, there is just, you know, because I listen to a lot of the stuff, there is, and Love Is All I Can Hear from from Impressions.
Uh-huh.
There is like an insane guitar solo. Now, is that you, or did you get another guy to play it?
No, that's so the musical music is me and Meredith, and then Adam, our friend, who is like, so it's the three of us, and he plays all
under assumed names.
You're right. And so Adam is the one who does all the guitar shredding. He's like he's kind of a virtuoso guitarist. And so yeah, he can. It's kind of weird. He has I don't know. Whenever we record with him, we'll say like, oh yeah, we should have like a guitar solo on this song, and he'll like sit down and he'll play like that guitar solo on the song was like one take. He just does one take, and it's like really good. And then if he ever like starts trying to do like a second or a third take, they just got like worse and worse and worse. And so we never let him like do more than 2 takes of anything, because for some reason he like, I don't know, thinks about it too much, and then they start getting worse. But like at least on the music stuff, like all those guitar solos he does are like at the most 2 takes. It's really bizarre. He's like, yeah, I mean, it's very efficient. But he does. So in that band, I mostly play the synthesizers and the piano, and he does more of the guitar and the bass.
And it's kind of interesting because I keep coming back to this, you know, wearing different masks. So it's Bodies of Water, but they are music and under assumed names. There's a lot of identity games with you. Is that obviously it's on purpose because you chose different name, but was it because you want to say, okay, we want to distance ourselves? This is not Bodies of Water. This is a completely different beast.
Yeah, I think so. And then also initially we thought our label was putting out Bodies of Water and wanted Musical, and we told them that Musical Music, they wanted to put out the Musical Music records, and we told them that they could, but we didn't want to tour, and we didn't want to do anything basically for that band. And so part of the reason we chose the names is so that we thought like, oh, if there is like a demand for shows and everybody, you know, whatever best case scenario, if it starts going well, like we'll just like hire people to like go out and be the band.
Yeah, exactly.
So that we don't have to do it. So yeah, it probably was a little bit optimistic, but so that was part of the idea, is that like we wouldn't really have to, it wouldn't have to always be us and other people. But then they eventually like did get us to go out and go on tour and stuff, so our plan didn't really work.
Oh, well, that's all for the best. Now, I want to go into a different avenue with you, and because I don't even know where do you come, because there is almost zero to none information about you guys on the web, probably on purpose, or by choice. But I can't help but notice there's always been a spiritual aspect to Bodies of Water. The last album, that spiritual became very, I would even say, religious element, and I can you know, there's like the baptism of Christ, there's Jacob and the angel. I mean, even compared to like Mary Don't You Weep, which had a lot of biblical references, but this wasn't, you know, religious. So where do you come from on this? Is this a change that happened in you? Always was there? What is your, where do you stand on this?
As far as like the last record, as far as the Spirit in the City being even more like that, you mean? Or just more generally?
Yeah, and both, I would say, because I'm very fascinated by this.
I was sort of, I did write all those songs like specifically to be gospel songs. I mean, gospel is like a sort of a blanket term, but I guess, you know, my version of what gospel music would be. And a lot of old, there isn't really any like contemporary, I don't know, like,
No.
I guess gospel, I like Christian music that I like, but a lot of like 40s and 50s gospel music is stuff that I like a lot, and and so I guess just ever since I've been a teenager, that's always resonated with me, and I've spent a lot of time listening to it. So I was trying to make my version of that kind of music, and it's pretty far afield musically from that stuff, and I guess lyrically as well. I mean, I don't know. It's not I guess the irony of it is that it's like probably like too religious for people that aren't religious.
Yeah.
It's like too weird and like violent and apocalyptic for people that are religious, you know, who generally don't want to hear like unsettling music. So it's, you know, the worst of both worlds. But I don't know. It's I don't feel real. I'm pretty at ease with the fact that we're not a very popular band, so I don't feel very pressured to like make anything that's going to appeal to a whole bunch of people. So, and I was successful in making something that didn't appeal to very many people. But they, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like all of our records and all of our music is kind of orbited around that in one way or another. So I mean, the last record was just like the most intentional about that. I think with the other stuff, it was tended to be just like one of several ingredients, maybe, and then it just kind of became like it kind of became the focal point of the last record in a way that it wasn't before. I think that I'm trying to think about these new songs that we're wrapping up right now. I feel like it's not so much that way with this record. I don't exactly have any reason why. It just kind of, that's just the way things end up, I guess. I mean, that's part of our, most of the band are like, not all of them, but most of the people in the band are religious people. And so that's kind of always going to be like a, you know, color what we do.
No, that's good. I mean, you should do what you should practice your faith, so to speak, musically, if not personally. So, a couple of before I let you go, as they say, in more professional places, a couple of mysteries that I have to ask you about. Now, I saw that I have 4 Bodies of Water albums, and apparently there's a 5th album. I mean, where can we find it? Is it even on sale anywhere?
By the 5th, do you mean the one that I'm working on right now? Which one do you mean?
No, the first one, called Bodies of Water.
Oh, it's just like, yeah, it's just an EP. I don't know. I don't think it's on any stream. I probably have like some CD. You know, we did this like, it was the first thing that we ever recorded or put out, and we just kind of like used our a Silkscreen machine and just kind of did all the packaging ourselves and all that. So it's just 4 songs, and then I think two of the songs were like re-recorded for the first full-length record. I don't think it is for sale or anything anywhere. Maybe I should. Maybe I can. I'll let you know if I dig them up somewhere. I'm due to like kind of like clean out the garage, but I'm sure that there's like we didn't make very many of them. I feel like we made like a couple hundred and then sold most of them years ago, but I probably have, I don't know, 20 or 30 of them in a box somewhere. So there's I had a funny thing happened. I don't know, maybe like 5 years ago, I was at a thrift store, like Goodwill or Salvation Army, something like that. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? A thrift store? Do they have those in Israel?
Yeah.
So, and I was looking through the music, and somebody and I saw one of those EPs in the rack with all the CDs, and I got very excited. Somebody had donated their CD collection, and that was part of it. So I bought it. Because I figured, I could probably, I bought it for $2, and I was like, well, I could probably sell this for $5 or something. But it was exciting to see your music in a thrift store.
It does. Well, I didn't know if it's one of those, mythological albums that was never released, but everybody thinks it was. But okay, that's good to know. Okay, another thing. Why wasn't this album called? You used a different naming convention for the first 3. A line from a song. This one was the name of the song. Why was that? Or did you even think about it?
It was a line from the song. The song actually had a different name.
It is a line from the song.
The title of that song wasn't Spear in the City until like right before we actually like sent the records off to get the vinyl press and everything. And then for some reason, and I can't remember what it was, we like changed the name of the song. I don't remember. There is no reason for it. It was just that, like, I think people weren't like remembering what had a show coming up and nobody could remember the names of the songs, and they were like bothering me because like I had given them weird names, and so I just kind of like used the first line of the songs as the title of the songs to make things easier for people. And in some cases, and so anyhow, that was a victim of a last minute change, and so it became like the title track kind of like by accident.
Okay. Now, do you speak German?
No.
No. Okay. There are 2 lines in German in Spear in the City. One of them I even managed to identify, which is from 99 Luftballons.
Oh yeah. I speak like a couple little words. That's all. I speak Spanish, but no German. German's not like a very useful language to know in Los Angeles. No. I gotta say, a long time ago, I was in a band and we used to play 99 Luftballons, and so I have like all the lyrics to that like burned in my head. And so it's just part of the, part of the soup. It's in there. So
and the other line?
Yeah, it's the...
From A New World.
That's a line from the pirate Jenny from Kurt Weill. And, Bertolt Brecht and Kurt Weill, I think it's Threepenny Opera. Or no, it's a Threepenny Opera, that musical that they did. It's like, it's kind of a, there's some parallels between that song that Lotta Lania sings and the song about the angels descending on everybody. these are all things that I like put in these songs, and then like, kind of just expecting that nobody's ever gonna like try to piece this stuff together. But it's just kind of, I don't know. It's like something for me in there, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. I saw them and I was like, okay, stream of conscience, I'm not gonna think. But when I started, preparing, I was like, I have to figure out what those lines, and I look at it one, and then it dawned on me that I actually know that line, the Luftballons one. So I said, okay, maybe the other one is also from somewhere. Okay, now speaking of last minute changes, you have both The Garden and Teachers, which are instrumentals, but they have lyrics.
Oh yeah, did I? Yeah, there were. The album was too long to fit on an LP on vinyl, and so we sort of had like by committee, we kind of decided to that a couple of the songs were going to have to be chopped up to make it fit, and so those were the two that everybody thought, oh, maybe we can kind of make a little condensed version of those songs to just sort of be a musical interlude. And so they were turned into musical interludes. So I feel like, I don't know, I haven't looked recently. I don't know what's like on our SoundCloud page, but I thought that I had maybe...
No, that's on the sound...
The versions...
On the SoundCloud, they're instrumental, on the SoundCloud.
Oh, they are? Okay, yeah.
That's my version.
I'll have to put up the full versions of them. It wasn't unanimous. There were some hard feelings because everybody likes, gets attached to different songs. But those were the two that we had to make it fit on a record, and that was it. It's necessity.
It's okay. I actually originally that was very nice for me because it made diced the album into 2.5 parts, which I thought, okay, that's an interesting. I like when somebody says, okay, this is part 1, this is part 2, and this is like the coda, and then I go into the site and there's lyrics. Yeah. Okay, final mystery, and there's a song called New Age Nightmare on Twist Again. And there's something that sounds halfway between a scream and a didgeridoo. What is that?
It's a bowed upright bass. Like a acoustic, like string bass. Like from a jazz band. The lady that played the bass on the record didn't play bass guitar. She only used she only played upright bass. So on most of those songs, I think I played a bass guitar on maybe like 2 or 3 of the songs, but everything else was her playing that. And so she used the bow, and she kind of like played like harmonics, and then like did several tracks of herself like bowing the strings like at these harmonic points on those strings. And it made it really fun to me. We liked it, and so it stayed.
Oh, that's even better than I thought. David, I really want to thank you. It was an enlightening discussion, and and in the podcast I try to talk a lot about, because I'm a professional listener. I dabble in music, but my profession is listening to music. So I try to figure out those things, to say, okay, this is what I know. And I talk about, among other things, how is songs created from stuff. So it was very enlightening to talk to you and see, pieces of that in the way you work on music. When is the new album due? Is there a date, or are we just going to have to wait in anticipation until it dawns on us?
I'm hoping that it'll be finished in the early spring. I'm trying to finish mixing the songs right now. If you want to put out, making vinyl is so popular now that there's just long waiting lists at every place that cuts vinyl to press records, and so usually there's like a 4-month or 5-month turnaround. even if I did finish it right away and get it mastered soon, it'd still be sometime in the spring before we'd be able to put it out. So best case scenario, it'll be in the spring.
That's good enough. Take your time, as they say. You know, your track records allows you to take as much time as you need to make it right. And again, as a fan, I really want to thank you for all the music you've created. It's given me nothing but joy every time I listen to either one of your 6 albums. And I hope we can pick it up once the new album is released and talk about it a little bit more if you're up to it.
Love to. Thanks for thank you. I appreciate it. I'm flattered. Yeah, it's nice to know that somebody on the other side of the world has, been able to find our music and enjoy it. And I say that you don't ask anybody to like interpret their lyrics for you, because that always really bothers me. And I'm a firm believer in the once you put something out there, I think like the interpretations that people come up with as they listen are just as valid as the ones that I brought to it writing it, and so I'm pretty steadfast in refusing to like explain things to people, and so I like that you appreciate that and can see the value in letting it be. It's a good habit.
Thank you. I worked hard on that. It's really something I came to realize eventually in my listening. I always say that if you were supposed to write interpretation, then you were not a musician. If your method of creativity is writing songs, why now I have to ask you to recreate that piece in an interview or something like that? I don't know if that makes sense,
yeah.
But that's the way I see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you the internet.
כן, וזה היה הריאיון. וואו, איפה להתחיל? אז קודם כל סקופ היסטרי ברמה מטורפת, יהיה אלבום חדש, 50 במספר של Bodies of Water, רביעי, שישי, שביעי בסך הכל בספירה הכללית. זה החדשות הטובות. החדשות הרעות הם שהוא עתיד לצאת באביב הבא, שזה כמעט עוד שנה, אבל טוב, כמו שאמרתי לו, שיקח את הזמן. עוד דבר שקצת עפתי עליו והחלטתי להשאיר אותו בסוף, אחרי ה-thank you, שהוא אומר שמה שהוא מאוד מחזיק מההצהרה שלי, שפשוט הצהרתי אותה כי אני לא יכול, אחרי שכבר תחנתי את זה לא מעט פעמים במשדר, שאני נגד שהאומן יפרש את שיריו, ולהתחיל לבוא ולהגיד לו, טוב, תפרש לי את השירים שלך, פדיחה. אז אמרתי לו, תשמע, זה on record אני בעניין הזה, אנחנו לא נוכל להיכנס לדברים האלה, בין אם תרצה ובין אם לא, והופתעתי לשמחתי לגלות שוואלה, זה גם מה שהוא לא אוהב כששואלים אותו. הסאונד, אני יודע, הוא מודה, הוא מתוודה, לא איי. זה לא היה בסקייפ, זה היה שיחה טלפונית, מה לעשות, זה פחות טוב. ויותר מזה, מסתבר שבכלל הוא בהתחלה חשב שזה רעיון שאני אחרי זה הולך לעשות אותו רעיון לכתב עת או לבלוג או למשהו, כלומר, הוא לא היה לו מושג שהוא הולך להיות מוקלט לפודקאסט, וכמובן שהשארתי איתו את ההדורים, שלא אם זה בסדר ועם הכל, הוא אמר לי שכן, הוא פשוט מקווה שהתוכן ראוי למאכל, אז כן, זנתי למשדר, וזה בהחלט ראוי. שוב, אני חושב שהסאונד יכול להיות יותר טוב בחלקים מסוימים, אבל אני מאמין כשנכנסים לשיחה אז לא שמים לב כל כך, רק כשמאזינים לזה כזה באוזן ביקורתית, אז אני שומע את כל הקטעים שבהם הוא נשמע עמום לגמרי. ואני מפתע שאני לא נשמעתי המום לגמרי, בגלל הפרשי השעות הקלטנו את זה בערב שלו בבוקר שלי, אז זה די משעשע. בכל מקרה, למי שנהנה מהמשדר ומשדרים דומים, השבוע הבא יהיה נחזור לפורמט הרגיל של אני מדבר על דברים שמעניינים אותי בשעה שבה אני מדבר עליהם. אבל למישהו יש שאלות, טענות, בעיות, מענות, רצונות, שאיפות, מעוויים וכיוצא בזה, אפשר בשמחה ליצור איתי קשר. האימייל שלי הוא erez@משדרשת.co.il, ארז E-R-E-Z, משדרשת כותבים כמו ששומעים. משדרשת co.il זה גם האתר, אפשר למצוא שם בתור התחלה את כל הלינקים לכל הדברים שדיברנו עליהם, שירים, וכמובן קישרתי גם את הדף של הלהקה ביוטיוב ובבנדקאמפ ובאתר נוסף שנקרא בומקט, ששם פשוט מצאתי את כל האלבומים שלהם. אני אישית מעדיף את בנדקאמפ, אבל לא כל האלבומים של Bodies of Water ומיוזיק או מיוזיק נמצאים שם, אבל בבומקט הם כן. כמובן שמי שממש רוצה, אז יש כל מיני אמזונים וספוטיפיים וכל מיני מראים ואפל מיוזיק וכאלה שאני פשוט לא מקשר אליהם מסיבות דתיות. דתיות שלי, כן, לא דתיות של יהדות או נצרות או משהו כזה. אז כאמור, כל הלינקים וכל הדברים נמצאים באתר משדרשת co.il. אפשר כמובן להירשם למשדרשת דרך ה-RSS, אפשר למצוא שם את כל הכישורים לאפל ולספוטיפיי, שאני כן מקשר אליהם לפודקאסט, כי מה אכפת לי, ולסטיצ'ר ולרדיו פאבליק, וכמובן ליוטיוב של משדרשת, או שאפשר להוריד את הפודקאסט ישירות למחשב או לטלפון, ואפשר כמובן להיכנס אחת לשבוע, שבועיים, תמיד קורה משהו חדש ומעניין. ברשתות החברתיות אפשר למצוא אותי, אני לא יודע איפה אפשר למצוא את דיוויד מטקאף. בטוויטר אני נמצא בארז, ובפייסבוק אני במשדרשת. וזהו בינתיים. אני שוב רוצה להודות לדיוויד מטקאף על השעה שהוא הקדיש לי ועל כל השאלות ההזויות ששאלתי אותו. באמת היו לי הרבה קושיות מוזרות כיעל לפן חפרן. אני רוצה להודות לכם על שהזנתם, אנחנו נתראה במשדר הבא, ועד אז שיהיה לכם המשך יום נהדר, ולהתראות.